So Warren Buffett wouldn't buy all of the Bitcoin in the world for $25. It doesn't produce anything. This is something that came out on May 2nd. So for anybody questioning if Bitcoin is a real asset class or not, you'll want to listen to what Eryka has to say about Fidelity.
Yeah, I mean, you see this contrast between Warren Buffett, who is a very good value investor, but he also missed out on some of the big tech stocks because he doesn't invest in what he doesn't understand, which really is a smart decision for him. But I mean, $25 on all the Bitcoin in the world is a pretty good deal. So now he's just being rude. But in contrast, you have something like Fidelity. Now, Fidelity, I'm reading this from their website, but they say that their investment thesis is to take intelligent risks rather than follow the crowd. And you can see that they've been doing it. So recently, in the last 5 days, Fidelity announced that they are allowing employers to offer Bitcoin in the 401k of their employees. They service over 23,000 different companies for 401ks, and now they're offering Bitcoin as an option, which seems like it's been a demand among the younger generation. And it makes sense because, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies really are a generational shift. And it's not only that, it's not only that they're now allowing for Bitcoin to be in your retirement account. They filed and they've been filing for ETFs in the United States to be passed, but it hasn't. So they filed in Canada. So there's a Bitcoin Fidelity ETF in Canada right now. Not only that, but they have released Fidelity Digital Assets in 2018, which was basically allowing Bitcoin services towards institutions. And, in July of 2020, they released a paper called Fidelity's Bitcoin Investment Thesis. If you haven't read that, I really suggest a lot of people do read that. It's a really great synopsis of Bitcoin. But the CEO, she's a woman, and her name is Abby Johnson. She is legendary because she's been mining Bitcoin since 2014. Just
Wow.
Going in that trend of being innovative and not necessarily following the crowd. She saw Bitcoin. She started mining it just as an exploratory learning thing because it is important to learn new things. And now that little mine of theirs makes money. So you do see the contrast between people like Warren Buffett and Fidelity. But the fact that Fidelity is gearing to a younger crowd and cares enough to take the time to understand where trends are moving instead of sticking on what they already know, I think that you're going to see Fidelity capture a lot more of the market share.
And I just want to touch on something you mentioned, that Warren Buffett says he doesn't invest in what he doesn't understand. And I do, I think that's a good idea. People need to get educated and understand what they're doing. Back when Bitcoin first came out, my husband had a conversation with a friend of his asking, what is this Bitcoin thing? What do you think? Should I invest in some of that? And at the time, we didn't understand it. So we were like, no, I don't think so. And, I wish we really would have invested in it back in the day. Like, that was probably over 10 years ago. So we should have gotten a little more knowledge on that. And we wonder to this day, we're not in contact with him anymore. We hope that he bought Bitcoin back when he was questioning and really seriously thinking about buying it. And it is all about taking intelligent risks. Get your education, which is what we're doing with our Friday updates, so that you can decide if it's something for you or not. And I really agree, in more things than one, than rather than follow the crowd, take the opposite direction.
You're right. We have to take the risks. Everybody has that story where they first heard about Bitcoin and maybe they thought it was a great idea, but they forgot about it, or they thought it was a bad idea because they didn't look into it. Everybody does have that story, but it kind of taught me, if I do hear about something and it is interesting, because when I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought it was so cool, but I didn't look into it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very similar story to yours where I wish I bought some when I first heard about it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of stories out there like that, not even just with Bitcoin, but with other things too. And we thought, we didn't get it. It's the same thing. Like, I don't understand. What is this? It's just going to be a fad. Really, that's what we thought, and really forgot about it. And I met somebody here recently where we are in Mexico that Someone had mentioned to her buy Bitcoin, so she bought it when it was $200, and she is now retired. So
good for her. We will all be as lucky one day.
that's right. Well, thank you, Eryka. As always, I appreciate your insights.